Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have broken up after 9 years together, according to multiple reports. The two first went public with their romance in 2016, but less than a year after making their romance Instagram official, the pair briefly called it quits, with their reps telling People magazine in a February 2017 statement, "We can confirm that Orlando and Katy are taking respectful, loving space at this time." However, the two insisted that they remained friends during the break and later reunited in 2018, the same year they made their official red carpet debut as a couple. Katy and Orlando announced their engagement the following year, and in 2020, the duo welcomed their daughter, Daisy Dove Bloom.
Did Orlando Bloom just call Katy Perry cringeworthy? After years of being one of Hollywood's most talked about couples, from red carpet appearances to quirky interviews, fans were shocked when their romance quietly came to an end. But now, a resurfaced quote and some behind-the-scenes drama are painting a very different picture of why Orlando and Katy really split. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom seemed like the perfect match. She was the bold, colorful pop star. He was the charming movie star with an adventurous edge. Their relationship had all the makings of a celebrity fairy tale: romantic getaways, a viral pregnancy announcement, and even a lavish engagement. But beneath the surface, things weren't as perfect as they appeared. Now, new reports and fan speculation are reigniting interest in the real reason behind their breakup. And when Orlando reportedly used the word cringeworthy to describe parts of their relationship, fans couldn't help but wonder, was it playful honesty or something deeper? In an interview that's now resurfacing and gaining traction across social media, Orlando Bloom made some surprisingly candid comments about his relationship with Katy Perry. And one word in particular grabbed everyone's attention: cringeworthy.
Why did Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom break up after 9 years? Well, new reports are alleging it's because Orlando kept warning her about her cringeworthy space flights and desperate attempts at promoting her new album, including invading Orlando's privacy.
While reflecting on Katy's larger-than-life personality, her stage persona, and her unique approach to fame, Orlando said she's very bubbly, very animated. Sometimes it's cringeworthy in a cute way, but yeah, sometimes it's a lot. Though he followed the statement with a laugh and clarified that he loves her energy, fans quickly picked up on the tone behind the words. Some took it as harmless honesty, a playful jab at the quirks that made Katy who she is. But others saw it as a hint that Orlando may have been growing uncomfortable with how public, loud, and sometimes unpredictable Katy's personality could be, especially in contrast to his more private, grounded lifestyle. He continued in the interview by adding, "We're very different people. She lives in Technicolor, and I'm more earthy, more grounded. It's a beautiful balance, but also a challenge." Those comments sparked a wave of speculation. Was this playful relationship banter, or was Orlando quietly expressing deeper frustrations about their dynamic? While the couple always portrayed a united front in public, these comments, paired with their on-again, off-again history, are now being seen in a different light. Many fans believe Orlando's words reveal subtle cracks in the relationship that may have contributed to their eventual split. Katy Perry didn't respond to Orlando Bloom's comment with outrage, but her silence spoke volumes. When Orlando described her as cringeworthy, in a cute way, many expected Katy to brush it off with humor, but instead she kept it subtle and powerful. In a red carpet interview shortly after the quote went viral, Katy said, "I've learned that I don't have to make myself smaller for someone else's comfort." It wasn't a direct clapback, but it felt personal, a confident, self-assured reminder that she knows her worth. Days later, she posted a quote on Instagram that read, "Being extra is better than being empty." And fans took it as another quiet response to being labeled too much. Insiders say Katy was hurt by the comment, especially because she'd always embraced her big personality and saw it as a core part of her identity. She felt misunderstood, not just by Orlando, but by how the media spun the story. While she's handled it with grace, those close to her say the comment cut deeper than people realize. Not because it was harsh, but because it came from someone she trusted to love her exactly as she is. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom's relationship wasn't just high profile, it was uniquely them. Dramatic, colorful, unpredictable, and deeply watched by fans and the media. But what started as a fun, flirty red carpet encounter eventually unraveled into a complex, on and off relationship filled with deep love, very different personalities, and moments that hinted all along.
Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom's reps confirming the two have called it quits. After swirling speculation surrounding their relationship status, multiple outlets reported June 26 the stars going their separate ways after a 9-year relationship, as well as ending a years-long engagement. Now reps for the stars confirming to E! News their biggest roles remain being mom and dad to 4-year-old daughter Daisy, confirming that Orlando and Katy have been shifting their relationship over the past many months to focus on co-parenting, adding they will continue to be seen together as a family, as their shared priority is and always will be raising their daughter with love, stability, and mutual respect.
They might not make it to the finish line. Their first spark happened in January 2016 at a Golden Globes after party. According to reports, they hit it off while fighting over a burger. Yes, literally. Katy later confirmed the story in interviews, and it became a symbol of their quirky dynamic. From that moment, they became inseparable, often seen vacationing, attending Coachella, or showing up at events with a mix of playfulness and PDA that made them instant couple goals. But beneath the charm, they were different in big ways. Orlando, known for his more spiritual, grounded lifestyle, surfing, meditation, time in nature, seemed like the opposite of Katy, whose career revolved around explosive performances, costumes, cameras, and constant attention. Still, they seemed to make it work. In 2017, they shocked fans by announcing a breakup. A joint statement described the split as taking respectful, loving space, which left many wondering if deeper issues were brewing behind the scenes. Later, both hinted that personal growth and emotional maturity were reasons they couldn't align at the time. Orlando said he was working on his inner peace, and Katy admitted she needed to redefine her sense of identity outside of her pop star persona. But love wasn't over for them. By early 2018, they were spotted together again. This time, they appeared calmer, more balanced. In 2019, Orlando proposed to Katy on Valentine's Day with a flower-shaped diamond ring during a helicopter ride, a grand gesture that fit their theatrical brand of love. Just a year later, in August 2020, they welcomed their first child, Daisy Dove Bloom. Fans thought this marked their forever phase. They looked happy in photos, glowing in interviews, and seemed united as a family. But even during this time, both continued to drop hints about the ongoing challenges in their relationship.
It's being reported that Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have broken up. TMZ reported that the couple are no longer together, and there were already rumors after Katy Perry rented out their $30 million house. They first got together in 2016, they got engaged in 2019, and they welcomed a daughter together in 2020.
In interviews, Orlando often spoke about how different they were, describing Katy's world as a circus, compared to his desire for solitude and grounding. Katy, meanwhile, praised his fatherhood, but also admitted they were in therapy and constantly working on themselves and their bond. Fast forward to late 2023 and early 2024, and fans began noticing something was off. Fewer public appearances, no photos on birthdays or anniversaries. Katy started attending events solo, and when asked about Orlando, she gave short, vague responses. Then came the now viral interview where Orlando called parts of Katy's personality cringeworthy. Even if he followed it with compliments, the comment landed awkwardly. For many, it confirmed what they suspected. Their differences had become too big to ignore. Insiders say they've now quietly separated, choosing to focus on co-parenting their daughter rather than forcing something that no longer fits. It wasn't one dramatic fallout. It was years of two very different people trying to meet in the middle, and slowly realizing they couldn't.
Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry started dating after a Golden Globe party in 2016. After breaking up and reuniting, they got engaged in 2019. On August 27, 2020, Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry announced the birth of their daughter, Daisy Dove Bloom.
To the public, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom look like an eccentric but solid couple. A Hollywood romance full of flair, love, and growth. But behind the glamour, their relationship was a constant balancing act between two very different worlds. Over time, that tension became too heavy to hold.
She definitely pushes me to be the best version of myself.
He handles the insanity of my life with grace, with loving grace.
There's Bachelor Orlando today with a mystery woman who bears a striking resemblance to his former fiancé. A source tells ET the couple called it quits after things got worse this spring.
The story's over now, the end.
Life is not peachy keen jelly bean. It's about who you are in those really challenging moments.
So what went wrong? We're told Katy's been upset with where her career is currently, and it's caused stress in their relationship. Orlando tried to be there for her, but it got too tough for him.
Orlando and I, when we argue kind of hot and fast.
Their focus now? Co-parenting 4-year-old daughter Daisy Dove, who's been with Katy during her world tour.
Daisies, daisies.
Those are her very own headphones, because the show is loud, y'all.
After Katy's trip to space on Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, it's Orlando who is attending the billionaire's wedding of the century to Lauren Sanchez. Orlando was spotted chatting up fellow guest Kim Kardashian, who arrived with mom Kris and sister Khloe. Remember last September when he was caught checking out Kim's most famous asset?
Orlando is staring at her butt. Wait, hold on. I mean, how could you not? She's got...
I approve.
One of the biggest reasons for their split was the clash of lifestyles and core values. Katy lives life at full volume, big ideas, bold statements, and a career centered on public attention, performance, and reinvention. Orlando, in contrast, is quiet, spiritual, introspective. He's someone who craves stillness, simplicity, and emotional grounding. While these differences first made their relationship dynamic and exciting, they eventually caused friction that therapy and compromise couldn't fully resolve. Orlando even hinted at this in interviews, describing Katy as living in Technicolor, while he prefers earth tones. He wasn't trying to criticize her, but it exposed the emotional gap between them. They were in love, yes, but love alone didn't bridge the gap in how they saw the world. Another major challenge was communication and emotional processing. Katy has spoken openly about dealing with past trauma, identity struggles, and how fame shaped her self-worth. She brings everything to the surface. Orlando, on the other hand, has a tendency to retreat inward, using meditation, nature, and privacy to work through his emotions. While they tried couples therapy, sources say the dynamic became exhausting, especially as they navigated parenthood and busy careers. Then there's the pressure of the spotlight. Despite being seasoned celebrities, their relationship was under constant watch. Every interview, red carpet appearance, and Instagram post was dissected. That kind of scrutiny put extra stress on a bond that was already fragile. Finally, their priorities started shifting. Katy dove back into music, TV, and major events like her Las Vegas residency and American Idol. Orlando focused more on film, fatherhood, and staying low-key. Their once parallel paths slowly started pulling in opposite directions. Insiders say there was no explosive fight or scandal, just the slow realization that they were forcing something that didn't feel natural anymore. They still care for each other, especially as co-parents, but romance took a backseat to emotional survival. The bottom line, Katy and Orlando loved each other deeply, but they simply weren't built the same way. And over time, that difference became too big to ignore.
In Hollywood, where lasting love stories are pretty rare, this breakup still caught a lot of people off guard. After nearly a decade together, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have reportedly gone their separate ways. Yep, another celeb couple bites the dust. But according to a source who spoke with Us Weekly, it's not as messy as it could have been. Katy and Orlando have split but are amicable, the insider shared, adding that while Katy's understandably upset, she's also relieved, especially since her divorce from Russell Brand was one of the hardest chapters in her life. And really, who wants a repeat of that? Apparently, things between the two had been rocky for a while. The same source said the relationship had been tense for months.
While neither Katy Perry nor Orlando Bloom has made a dramatic public statement about their breakup, fans have picked up on what appears to be subtle shade, quiet digs wrapped in interviews, lyrics, and even social media posts.
Orlando Bloom is sharing a cryptic message after his split from Katy Perry. The Lord of the Rings actor seemingly provides some insight into how he's feeling amid his breakup from Katy after 9 years together. Orlando reposts these quotes from Swiss psychologist Carl Gustav to his Instagram story on July 2nd, saying, "Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself."
It started with Orlando's now infamous interview where he described Katy as cringeworthy, in a cute way, adding that she's technicolor while he's more earthy. While meant to sound playful, the undertone felt like a critique, a way of saying that her big personality was a bit too much for his grounded lifestyle. That comment set social media ablaze, with fans calling it low-key disrespectful.
Orlando Bloom seems to be processing his emotions online following his split from Katy Perry. On July 2nd, the 48-year-old actor reposted a carousel of quotes to his Instagram feed from an account called Sapient Kind. The quotes, credited to Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, speak to a lot of different aspects of life and relationships. "Loneliness does not come from having no people about one slide reads, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself."
Shortly after, Katy seemed to respond without ever mentioning his name. In a red carpet interview, she was asked about personal growth and quickly said, "I've learned not to shrink myself for anyone." Many saw it as a subtle clapback, suggesting that in the relationship, she may have felt like she had to tone herself down to make things work. Even more telling was a cryptic Instagram story Katy posted weeks later with the quote, "Don't ever apologize for being a powerful woman. Some people just can't handle the light." The timing didn't go unnoticed. Fans speculated it was a direct message to Orlando, especially since he'd just spoken publicly about being overwhelmed by her energy.
We weren't like really in it from day one. I mean, he was in a way because he had just done a huge time of celibacy and he had set intentions, and I was fresh out of a relationship and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I need to go into a swim in a different pond. He went to this place called the Hoffman process, which is a retreat you go to for a week, and you rewire the way you think about yourself, and it helps you rewire all the bad habits and the rewires your neural pathways through different physical activities. I had a really tough year and I finally went to Hoffman towards the end of that year that we were separated. And then I got the tools and spoke the same language, and it changed my life. It saved my life. I would be dead without it. Really? I would not be on this planet without that process.
Orlando, for his part, doubled down in a later interview when asked about relationships. He said, "Being with someone who lives for the spotlight can be a lot. I need peace, not chaos." Again, he didn't name Katy, but the message was loud and clear.
Orlando Bloom shares a cryptic message on his Instagram following his breakup from Katy Perry. A few days after multiple outlets confirmed the couple broke up after 9 years together, the actor is sharing a cryptic message about a new beginning. Orlando posted a quote by Buddha on his Instagram stories June 30th that read, "Each day is a new beginning. What we do today is what matters most." He then shared a daily encouragement on the next slide. "The important thing is to take that first step. Bravely overcoming one small fear gives you the courage to take on the next."
Katy, ever the performer, also appeared to channel her feelings into music. In a recent unreleased track teased online, she sings about being too much for someone too afraid to rise, and fans immediately linked the lyrics to her split with Orlando.
Making cryptic comments, Katy Perry, amid rumors she and Orlando Bloom are on the rocks.
The song was about a breakup and these Tim Tams saved me.
That's Katy on stage in Australia as Orlando reveals who he's leaning on half a world away.
He's a real emotional support animal because I'm very emotional right now. He's my emotional support animal.
The actor's been taking his teacup poodle Biggie Smalls on a press blitz, while Katy's been dealing with more fallout from her trip to space, plus lackluster album and ticket sales. Our source says things haven't been great, and Katy has been upset over the backlash.
While neither is launching a full-blown feud, the shade is there, subtle, classy, but sharp enough for fans to connect the dots. And in typical celebrity fashion, they're letting the world read between the lines. Since the quiet unraveling of their relationship, both Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have shifted their focus to personal growth and parenting, but they've taken very different paths. Katy, always known for reinventing herself, recently wrapped her final season as a judge on American Idol. In interviews, she hinted at a new chapter, both musically and personally, saying she's working on material that's more real and raw than ever. Many fans believe this new music will reflect the emotional journey she's gone through since the breakup. Publicly, she's kept things positive, appearing upbeat and confident. But those close to her say she's been taking time to reflect and refocus away from the spotlight. Katy is also spending more one-on-one time with their daughter, Daisy, and has posted several subtle messages about inner peace and letting go. Orlando, on the other hand, has taken a quieter route. He's been filming new projects in Europe and has largely stayed out of the Hollywood scene. While he hasn't spoken directly about the breakup, his recent interviews have focused on finding stillness, routine, and simplicity. He's also been spotted with Daisy during off days, often in low-key settings, showing he's staying actively involved as a father, even if he's pulled away from the media attention that surrounded their relationship. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom's relationship was never conventional, and neither was their breakup. What started with fireworks and fairy tales ended in quiet distance, subtle shade, and a deeper realization. Sometimes love isn't enough when two people are growing in different directions. While Orlando's cringeworthy comment may have seemed small, it revealed a larger truth about how even the most glamorous couples struggle with acceptance, identity, and emotional compatibility. Katy has made it clear she's not shrinking herself for anyone, and Orlando seems to be searching for peace on his own terms. Whatever comes next for both of them, one thing's for sure: the love was real, but the silence afterward says even more. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the headlines.